Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Building with fWhip. Today we are back here in our single player survival episode. In the last episode, we came through here and built up all of this stuff that you are looking at right now. I had so much fun doing that. This area feels like a city. You can actually walk through the front gates of the city and it feels good, and I'm so excited about that. So thank you everybody so much for the support on the last episode. I couldn't wait any longer. I wanted to get right back here into it, and so today we're going to be working even further on our city build, working on a park today. However, one thing to mention here is this build that we did over here. This is supposed to be a blacksmith structure. We got a weaponsmith on one side and an armor smith on the other side. And then out back, we have a lovely forge area. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to add some more lore into this one. I think it's something that we can start designing things along the way of how we can have that. Inside of here is we can have two sisters who are they are both of the smiths in here. They're kind of competing over who can be the best. One decided to go to be a weaponsmith, the other to be an armor smith. I thought that was a really cool way that we can do it. So if you have ideas on how we can have like a family feud going on between them, be sure to let me know down in the comments. But anyways, that other structure we were just looking at was a grocery store, and all this stuff over here is just so cool. I'm so happy with all of this. The middle area with the dark prismarine in here turned out so well. I was really surprised by how well this one worked out. And I thought it was super fun to be able to bring all of these things in. Today, as I mentioned though, we are going to be working on building up a park. So I think we got to get into that one. First things first is we need to come down through here and expand the river. There was just nothing going on down in this area. It was just complete dry land. It was supposed to be the river, and I just never really got around to doing it. So I dug this all the way down and filled it back in with water, and we're working behind the bank today to give you all a point of reference, and it should be pretty cool. After all that digging, my tools were pretty much dead, so I wanted to come up here to the zombie pigman farm, chuck a snowball out at one of these guys, and see if we can't get them all angry at us. And that should do the job there. Then coming back down, we could just AFK here, get some experience, and I figured it'd be a good time to chat with y'all about what we're going to be doing today. I really wanted us to get to a point of where we're building up this park that I was talking about. And I think it's going to be a great way that we can add some more life into the city. Instead of everything just being houses and everything like that, I think it's going to be really cool. I have a cool idea in mind of where half of the park is going to be very manicured. And that's going to be the area right behind the bank, and then off more towards the tower and the mountains going to the east, I believe. We're going to be adding a much more naturalized version of the park. I think it's going to be really cool. Hopefully we can get something cool figured out here to get all that stuff. But I just got to finish gathering up all these nice experience orbs here and get all my tools repaired up because we've got a lot of digging ahead of us today. I'd have thought while we were leaving the gold farm and while I was walking through our nether hub here, I know it's very dark for everybody here, so I got a torch in hand to help brighten this area up. But recently, or not recently, about a month ago now at this point, we came through the nether and started clearing out this area over here in hopes of actually building up the nether hub and completely transforming this area. It's something that I kind of just stopped on for a while after doing quite a few streams of it. I was just like, maybe we take a break from that little while for now, and then I just never got back to it. Would it be something y'all want to be seeing a nether hub transformation in here? Also, what should we be doing with it? I have a cool idea in mind. I think we're going to need to start learning how to use TNT duplicators to get some of that stuff figured out. And so we can just clear the top level and then let the rest of the stuff happen while we're going down throughout. I think that might save us a bunch of time on that one. But coming back over here into the city, it's time to actually get some work done on this park build. I don't know what leg is happening here. If you guys are seeing it stutter at all, that is on my side. I'm trying to get that stuff figured out. If anybody has any idea, maybe 115 will fix that one, but man, fingers aren't crossed there. Coming back over to our park build, I gotta let you know all something here. I accidentally left my microphone muted, so I'm recording this over the fact afterwards. And here I really didn't want to remove this clip because I realized it 2 or 3 hours later, so a lot more work is done. So we're going to be working on building up this area here, and what I wanted to do to start, as I'm kind of adverbing this, is I want to bring up a bunch of stone brick on top of this, and we're going to create a staircase going down on both sides of this that's going to go down 3 steps at a time is going to be the goal here, and we're just going to bring in some scaffolding here and quickly pillar ourselves up here, place in some stone stairs, and I'm using stone stairs here with a stone brick and cobblestone outline is going to be the plan, because I think that'll actually give us a much cooler and cleaner feel, because this is going to be that area of our park that is very much owned by the people. Like, it's very I'm blanking on the word right here, but it's very manicured. There we go. That's what it was. I want this area to very much look like the people have built it out to here. So the general plan is we're going to have these staircases coming down here. Right now I created it for the first time 4 steps here, but we actually are going to be changing it back to be 3 steps because I think that'll work a little bit better for us, because 4 I think is just going to get us down too quickly, and I want to have a lot of layers to this one, like a good old-fashioned onion. We got to have a lot of layers in here. And then working our way throughout here, this is kind of just 3 steps right there. As I mentioned, we're going to be taking that one out and adding in our 4th and we're removing the 4th and bringing in a 3rd, and we're creating little stone platforms down here to where we can walk around, and basically just bringing this out 2 more blocks on the end, and then that's going to be extended going back down again to the next layers. Welcome to clip number 2 of Whip forgetting to unmute his microphone. So we're over here right now looking at all this good stuff, and we have a few platforms built up here, and it's starting to take shape for what I want. Each one of these side platforms, as we're landing down on a tree, my plan is to have like 2 trees on each one of those, and then we're going to be building up some platforms down below it as well, so we can have multiple layers on here. And I think it should look pretty cool as the trees kind of grow upwards into the environment up there instead of just kind of resting down on the ground. One thing I do want to move into next, though, is bringing a cliff face from all the way over here to the tower. I think it'd be really cool to have that naturalized area, and then that gives us a good way that we can finish off the terrain on top as well, just by having a good point where we can line it all up together. We've made it to the final one where I forgot to unmute my microphone, so we're good here. I noticed it after, about hour 4 of this project, so I think I did a great job on all of this today. But anyways, the steps area is now finished up with the multiple terraces. I think it's going to be cool. We've got a nice little area down here with a strong retaining wall to it as well. So it should give us a lot of easy area to terraform and create some cool flower beds. And this area is going to be very manicured. As I mentioned, we will be adding some more detail to the back of the bank. Don't worry, it's not just going to be that flat brick texture we have over there, but I've started cutting out some of the area over here as well, so we can actually get into some of that terraforming, and it won't take forever, because I've already went back to the gold farm another time to repair my tools because they were very, very broken. I kind of want to terraform this area out, bring in some more trees down in here, the big oak trees and birch trees that we've used throughout the city before. I feel like some of those, just adding some shade to the park and then having some natural grassy flower beddy type things throughout the area. Super quick question here for y'all in this time lapse is I've been messing around with different music choices for time lapses and seeing kind of what works best. And it seems like people have never really decided. I always get some comments being like, oh my god, this is the best, or oh my gosh, this is the worst. Like, what's going on here? Should we just go back to voiceovers like we've been doing here? What do you think? Actually recording and talking at the same time now because my microphone's no longer muted. I've added in all of our trees across here, and I think they're looking really cool. I think from down here especially, it really starts to feel like a park. And as you can see in that area, I've been messing around with a few flower designs for what I want it to look like, and I figured that'd be a good point to bring y'all back in and show y'all this, because these trees, y'all have seen me build these up a million times probably, but what I wanted to do down here was bring in a few little like pathway bits so you can kind of walk through here almost. The trees are a little kind of grown down in the way. Maybe like for that one, we remove that little chunk of leaves right there so you can actually walk through this stuff, and maybe we re-add that leaf right in here. But the idea that I have is we have lilacs and we have the peonies over here, and I'm basically just alternating those on the outside and then bringing in some of our dark oak leaves. We have those there as well. I did want to bring in some azure bluets and alliums, just these two right here, because they're like littler versions of these ones. Not quite exactly, but that was my goal. But I don't think it's going to work, and I think because you can't see them from down below, it's going to kind of ruin the vibe that we're getting off of this. So the general idea that I've been going with here is basically just grabbing one of those and alternating it, and then that'd be a peony right here, and then we can just do lilacs the entire way down. And I tried making sure these trees that we have above us aren't all the exact same height. I wanted to add some variety to it, and then bringing in the lilacs, we can just kind of move our way right back down here, not placing a salmon in the ground, and then right like that, and that adds those in perfectly. And then I was just grabbing a few dark oak leaves and kind of inching these out here together, but that would block our pathway, so we can't get quite through there. And maybe we just do like 2 more sets right here, and that's going to block it again. And then I've been kind of removing, that's not an axe, that's a flower, that's a shovel. Get the axe out. I've been throwing the dark oak leaves kind of underneath the bottom one there because it looks like a bush is kind of growing around the trunk of the tree, and I think that's working out pretty well. But that should be good for the amount of detailing that we want to throw in this upper section of the park. The area that I'm super excited about is actually going to be the one down here, because we'll be able to throw in a lot more interesting stuff down here. This one is so manicured that it kind of has to look perfect. And I think I need to figure out what we're going to be doing down in this lower part. Maybe we do like another one of those trees, like right in here. We can do like, let's move it over. Maybe we do another one of those right here. And then we can do like another single one right over here as well, because I want to make sure this looks very even from up above, and then that's going to look very, very natural. But let me finish up this entire section, and then we can get over there to start messing around with that stuff. And with that, our fancy garden is now completed. I'm so happy to have this side done here. I think it's really, really cool looking. I think we did a very, very good job on this. I added in a bunch more details afterwards, like cutting back a little bit into the cobblestone walls here so they weren't just so flat going around. I was started to look at a few pictures online actually of like ancient Roman gardens or just fancy gardens, like Italian gardens and things like that at like behind like churches and those types of things, and was able to find a lot of cool details like engraved into the walls where they had like statues of small fountains, and that stuff isn't quite possible at this scale inside of Minecraft, but I think we're still able to accomplish something really, really cool here. But what I want to move into next, as I mentioned already, was I wanted to start building up some of our trees down in this vicinity. I grabbed my 2 shulker boxes of birch wood and oak wood, and unfortunately, we are very out of oak wood. That's not nearly enough as what we could need. Birch wood, we are completely set on, but thankfully, while we were working on the last episode, I kind of saw that we were running out of oak wood, so I actually planted a bunch more saplings down over here. So I'm going to need to chop all those down here very, very soon and get that stuff built up. But one thing I want to check up on here real quick is to see what we were doing for our oak and birch trees before. If you don't remember, we have a very, very small park area behind these houses back here that I want to kind of mimic that same style. So here we have one of the birch trees. I know it's a birch tree, but it looks really cool. So we're using a lot of our birch log wood in here, so it has the covered ends. Then it looks like those are birch fences. Then we have birch leaves and acacia leaves for this tree. And then our oak trees are the ones right over here, which are using oak wood, oak fences, oak leaves, as well as I believe there's jungle leaves in here. Yeah, there's jungle leaves right in there. So I kind of want to mimic this general style that we have in here, with kind of this rocky pathway maybe. I kind of like leaving the area that we have with just the path block though, so that at least relates over to the other park. But I want to throw a lot of these trees in, a lot of the shrubbery like this going around the outside, and even in some areas where they have some crates piled up for maybe a hobo who's living in the park or something like that. But just a lot of life in there. And I love this detail, this little pond thing that we added in. I might try and find a way where we can throw something like one of those in. But anyways, I'm going to chop some trees down, and then let's get to some tree building. For this time lapse, I actually wanted to start an open forum with you all through the comments down below, as we've been doing this for quite a while now. And I've been doing source block, and I've been doing my single player world, heroes, all this stuff. I've been kind of realizing that I've been feeling burnt out because of how much survival Minecraft I've been playing. Having 2 active survival series going on is absolutely insane as far as time commitment goes, because between each and every single one of these videos that we're doing, we're putting in 8 to 10 hours plus of work into a single episode, and that comes out to some very, very long weeks, because that doesn't even include the editing, the uploading process, and all of that. So I was kind of hoping to, as we're going into December, as we're going into the end of the year, and 2020 is basically just around the corner, which is mind-blowing at this point, but I wanted to get some feedback from you all and see what you wanted to be seeing more on the channel here. I've actually been leaning towards and thinking about starting doing some tutorial things, like direct tutorials, as far as like how to build some of the structures inside of this world. I know that's something typically I've been against in the past, but I thought it'd be something kind of fun to start doing, and like being able to experiment with new build styles that don't really relate to anything, but like, hey, I just wanted to build a house in a style, and then I can show you all how to build it. Is that something you're interested in? Or what would be something that you all think would be more interesting for the channel? What do you all want to be seeing here? Just let me know down in the comments below what you all want to be seeing kind of more of on the channel here. I'm not planning to get rid of either of the survival series that I have. I think it might just be, instead of 2 episodes a week on those, it might be one week we'll be doing 2 of the single player world and 1 source block, and then next week it'll be 2 source block and 1 single player, and things like that moving forwards. And there we go, the park is now finished up, and it's looking fantastic. I love it down here. It's so cool being able to walk underneath all of these trees, seeing all the cool little details and everything around here. I added in originally a bunch of flowers, and as y'all probably saw it through the time lapse, I took out more than half of what I had actually added in here. Then we can kind of come down to the sandy area, decide to leave that in. And we have a small little fishing raft or something out here where somebody might be fishing off of. I thought it was just a cool add to here as well. Originally, I had wanted to add like a small wooden area, like a small tiny wooden dock or something like that, but I just feel like it wouldn't really fit in here, especially if we're going to have a big old gate structure right here as well as kind of a cool archway over the river entrance, because the city is going to be continuing off in that direction as well. But anyways, let me know what y'all think on that topic we were talking about on the time lapse of starting some tutorial videos or things like that, just kind of as more things going on the channel here, because it is starting to weigh down on me that we've been doing just 2 survival series back to back all the time. It's just a lot of commitment, I guess you could say. But anyways, moving on from that stuff, what I wanted to come over to is we're actually going to be building up this house as our last thing in today's episode. I think it's going to be finally time to get this one done and add all of these things in here. And I wanted to do this with majority dark oak on top. I think it's going to be very, very cool if we have just a bunch of dark oak coming out on the ends of all this, and it should be pretty sweet. We're going to use dark oak logs as well as stripped dark oak logs, and it should turn out to be pretty cool. And then I want to turn this area back here into a small wheat field since we have that doorway right in there. I think it'll be a good way for us to get some extra like detail back crammed into this small area, and it should be pretty cool. I'm not too sure yet how I want to be doing these side bits. I think it might be kind of nice just to, instead of having it go all the way along this, we could maybe just like barely extend it. Like each of these comes out like just 2 on each way, so it looks a little off. So it's not just perfectly lining up with this stone going straight up. Y'all see what I'm talking about here in just a second. But I think this might be a good way that we can mix things up and make it a little bit more detailed without seeing like crazy everything going on in here. Because what I was thinking is we would bring these guys in and go 1, 2, and 3. I want to make this a rather short one, so we're just going to be doing that. And then here we can basically strip them all going down and continue this all the way around. So my plan was something like this right in here, and I want this to feel very much like it was nestled down into this area with whatever space was left, and they weren't able to build anything too tall going upwards. So I'm thinking we can chop out a few windows in here, just something like this, and then maybe we skip that one or skip 2 of them, and then we do like another one right down here. And that kind of looks directly into that window, so maybe we don't do that one. We'll fix that here in a second. But from the inside, we're able to get a lot of space in here just by extending those bits out, and I think it could be pretty cool, like overall, to have that. And maybe we do that final window like right over here. That should be good. And then we can give them like one right in here, just a little bit of something going on, and we maybe do this as a bigger window. That should work out there pretty well. And then something back here so they can look out over their garden if they're in the upper floor. But that's kind of what I want to do for this one. And then I was thinking on top we could bring in some dark prismarine and just do a small tiny slab roof, and I think that should be pretty good. Thankfully with the slab roof we're able to get a pretty easy one in here, so it's just slab starting at the upper level on our outside block, bring it up one at a time, and then all the way back down. And these ones are super easy for diagonal roofs because all you have to do is trace the same thing going all the way back here. And so if we just add the slabs along the edge right like this, going out throughout the entire way, and even though we're missing a little bit into that wall over there, it's still going to be pretty easy to get this whole shape figured out. I've also decided I want to bring in some cyan stained glass panes in here as like the window block, because I think it has a cool contrast with the dark oak and the dark prismarine as well that we have going on around here. So we can basically just kind of keep coming around like this, grabbing maybe a few of those guys right there. And then that kind of brings us up. There was one more point where it kind of would come up to here, which means then at this point, that's where we would start dropping down. And then all it needs to be is filling in the middle of all this stuff now. I've run into a slight bit of an issue here while working on the roof, is where this side somehow, when I line this up, it's not exactly correct. I think it's due to the way we built that end over there. And the roof was starting to look a little weird, and I was going to have to do 2 slabs going across right here just to make it work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to cover all the way down there. But a quick way we can fix this up is these are actually all stairs. So that's a stair and that's a stair right there. And they're all facing in the middle. So it looks like we still have that same peaked line going throughout here. And we can come through and adjust a few of the full blocks that we have and turn them down into some stairs if we can place it the right way. And that helps to kind of ease things together here and make it look a lot more like it's that straight diagonal line that we're really shooting for. All right, our roof is completely in now. We're starting to add in a few final details, and this lip right across here of where the roof is overhanging is a little off for me right now. So a few ways that we can fix this up is actually just bringing in some stair blocks kind of along these ends right there, and that should actually help to bring it all together, and bringing in that stair block right there, actually, if we want to bring in some spruce fences as well, allows us to kind of add in this little bit of detail as well, which, because then it has somewhere to connect and it's not just floating, and it should actually be pretty good. I don't know why that's a full block, and I don't have any slabs on me. Alright folks, that's going to have to do it for today. I hope you all enjoyed. We were able to add in a bunch more detail to this final house here, and it is looking absolutely fantastic. Beyond that, we were able to finish up our park build today, which was so fun to be able to do. That was really, really cool to be able to add in some more variety into our city. So it's not just that boring city everywhere thing. Not that the city's boring, but it adds some more life to it and just something different going on over here. So I hope you all enjoyed that one. Please be sure to hit that like button down below. If y'all are enjoying what you're seeing here, be sure to let me know what y'all think about the tutorials. And if there's any tutorials that y'all want to be seeing, first and foremost, be sure to let me know that down in the comments below. But anyways, that's all I got time for today. As I've mentioned, please hit that subscribe button if you're new, and I'll catch you on the flip side.